Today is Thursday, August 6th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are on There's a Solution. We will be reading page 26. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 4. We will be reading page 48. And of course, read NA's Just for Today and Al-Anon's Courage to Change. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this beautiful Thursday morning, my friends, or should I say Friday Eve? Throwing that out there again. Life is good over here. Kind of back in the full swing of work again as a teacher, and it's exciting. I'm in a new district this year, new school system, and man, I'm just excited for the team I'm working with, excited for my future students and everything, and just excited to work this program today. What a blessing it is just to be alive and sober. No hangovers required, right? What a blessing. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, it was a big one. I mean, it starts off in the squigglies with "There is a solution," which is the title of the chapter in the first place. The solution, as it says right here, a little further down in that paragraph, is the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet, which would be the 12 steps. And I love this part here in the next paragraph. The great fact is just this and nothing less, that we have a deep and effective spiritual experience which will revolutionize our whole attitude toward life, toward our fellows, and toward God's universe. Man, that's quite the advertisement for this program, right? And then it says here, if you are seriously alcoholic, as we were, we believe there's no middle-of-the-road solution. One was to go on to the bitter end, blotting out the consciousness of our intolerable situation as best we could, and the other, to accept spiritual help. So we're going to build on that idea with a little bit of history here on page 26. A certain American businessman had ability, good sense, and high character. For years, he had floundered from one sanitarium to another. He had consulted the best-known American psychiatrists. Then he had gone to Europe, placing himself in the care of a celebrated physician, the psychiatrist Dr. Jung, who prescribed for him. Though experience had made him skeptical, he finished his treatment with the usual confidence. His physical and mental condition were unusually good. Above all, he believed that he had acquired such a profound knowledge of the inner workings of his mind and its hidden springs that relapse was unthinkable. Nevertheless, he was drunk in a short time. More baffling still, he could give himself no satisfactory explanation for his fall. So he returned to this doctor, whom he admired, and asked him point blank why he could not recover. He wished above all things to regain self-control. He seemed quite rational and well-balanced with respect to other problems. Yet he had no control whatever over alcohol. Why was this? He begged the doctor to tell him the whole truth, and he got it. In the doctor's judgment, he was utterly hopeless. He could never regain his position in society, and he would have to place himself under lock and key or hire a bodyguard if he expected to live long. That was the great physician's opinion. But this man still lives and is a free man. He does not need a bodyguard, nor is he confined. He can go anywhere on this earth, where other free men may go without disaster, provided he remains willing to maintain a certain simple attitude. Out of the 12 and 12, we are on Step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And today we are on page 48. And for the last couple of days, we've been talking about the depressive, the one who doesn't want to do an inventory because they're ashamed and everything, and it paralyzes them, they're afraid. And the one that they call the power driver here, that thinks that they don't have any need for it, just get rid of this alcohol problem. And we've been talking how the sponsor might talk to both of them. So we're going to build on that on page 48. Of course, the depressive and the power driver are personality extremes, types with which AA and the whole world abound. Often these personalities are just as sharply defined as the examples given. But just as often, some of us will fit more or less into both classifications. Human beings are never quite alike, so each of us, when making an inventory, will need to determine what his individual character defects are. Having found the shoes that fit, he ought to step into them and walk with new confidence that he is at last on the right track. Now let's ponder the need for a list of the more glaring personality defects all of us have in varying degrees. To those having religious training, such a list would set forth serious violations of moral principles. Some others will think of this list as defects of character, and still others will call it an index of maladjustments. Some will become quite annoyed if there is talk about immorality, let alone sin. But all who are in the least reasonable will agree upon one point, that there is plenty wrong with us alcoholics about which plenty will have to be done if we are to expect sobriety, progress, and any real ability to cope with life. To avoid falling into confusion over the names these defects should be called, let's take a universally recognized list of major human feelings. The 7 deadly sins of pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and sloth. It is not by accident that pride heads the procession. For pride, leading to self-justification and always spurred by conscious or unconscious fears, is the basic breeder of most human difficulties, the chief block to true progress. Pride lures us into making demands upon ourselves or upon others which cannot be met without perverting or misusing our God-given instincts. When the satisfaction of our instincts for sex, security, and society become the sole object of our lives, then pride steps in to justify our excesses. NA just for today, August 6th, the joy within. Since the beginning of our recovery, we have found that joy doesn't come from material things, but from within ourselves. Basic text, page 107. Some of us came to Narcotics Anonymous impoverished by our disease. Everything we'd owned had been lost to our addiction. Once we got clean, we put all of our energy into recovering our material possessions, only to feel even more dissatisfied with our lives than before. Other members have sought to ease their emotional pain with material things. A potential date has rejected us? Let's buy something. A dog has died? Let's go to the mall. Problem is, emotional fulfillment can't be bought, not even on an easy installment plan. There's nothing inherently wrong with material things. They can make life more convenient or more luxurious, but they can't fix us. Where then can true joy be found? We know. The answer is within ourselves. When have we found joy? When we've offered ourselves in service to others without expectation of reward. We've found true warmth in the fellowship of others, not only in NA, but in our families, our relationships, and our communities. And we found the surest source of satisfaction in our conscious contact with our God. Inner peace, a sure sense of direction, and emotional security do not come from material things, but from within. Just for today, true joy can't be bought. I will seek my joy in service, in fellowship, in my higher power. I will seek within. Al-Anon's Courage to Change, August 6th. I dreamt that I was trapped in a burning room. Thick smoke filled the air, and the only exit door was blocked by fire. As I gasped for breath, a hand appeared behind the flames, beckoning me to come. I knew that freedom, light, and air were on the other side of that door, and that certain death awaited me if I remained. Still, I hesitated. how could I walk through the fire? Sometimes I feel the same way about the challenges I face in my waking life. Even when my position is hopeless and my higher power beckons, urging me to take a risk, I still hesitate, hoping for a miracle. I forget that the miracle is already here. Today, thanks to Al-Anon, I have a higher power who is always there for me, helping me to cope with my fears and find new, effective solutions to my problems. Thus, I am taken beyond the problems that once held me hostage. I am free to act or not to act, to take a chance, to hold off on a decision, to make the choices that feel right. Today's reminder: it takes courage to step beyond what is comfortable, predictable, and known. Courage is a gift from my higher power that I find in the rooms of Al-Anon and in the hearts of its members. Quote from Martin Luther King Jr., "Courage faces fear and thereby masters it." All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, some rich stuff today. Golly. But real quick, in the 12 and 12, talking about step 4 and the 7 deadly sins. So it's pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, sloth. I love that it says, it is by no accident that pride heads the procession. Now, I have to admit, I didn't know how prideful I was and still can be. I didn't know that, and sometimes I still catch myself going, ooh, why are you feeling a little threatened right now? It's usually because I feel like my pride, my ego, has been threatened in some way. And I have to think, well, wait a minute. Why do I care so much? When I start digging deeper and deeper and deeper, that it's selfishness, kind of rooted in fear. Fear of not being good enough, not being accepted, fear that I don't fit in with others, or, that social component of life or whatever. But yeah, pride is a big one for me. And it says right here, for pride leading to self-justification and always spurred by conscious or unconscious fears. There it is. A lot of times when I'm being prideful, I'm deep down, I'm afraid something is threatening me. It's the basic breeder of most human difficulties, the chief block to true progress. Pride lures us into making demands upon ourselves or upon others which cannot be met without perverting or misusing our God-given instincts. When the satisfaction of our instincts for sex, security, and society becomes the sole object of our lives, then pride steps in to justify our excesses. Has anyone else ever done the wrong thing and then you go, well, I wouldn't have done that if blah, 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 blah. That's my pride stepping in. I've done that. I'll use an example that I've experienced before. My boss comes up and says, hey man, you did a great job with this, X, Y, and Z. Ooh, that pat on the back, man. Oh, thank you. So guess what? I'm going to try a little harder with X, Y, and Z. And then maybe he'll notice that I've done even better. And then the praise doesn't come. And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? All right, I'll try even harder. And I'll do this too over here. And I'm going to do this over here so I can get that pat on the back. But what if it doesn't come? Well, now I'm starting to question, am I doing things wrong? Does he not like me anymore? What's going on here? I deserve to be thanked for this. You hear the pride, like, I've done this. And I've tried to manipulate the situation where somebody would give me a pat on the back. It felt so stinking good. But the problem is when I depend on other people, I'm going to be let down. Because people are people. They have their own defects too. They have their own worlds of living in, their own microcosm. And I got to remember that. And then, that kind of ties perfectly in the NA reading. That joy comes from within. When I'm at peace with myself, and I've experienced this to be true, When I'm at peace with myself, I don't really care so much about what other people think of me. I mean, to some extent, of course. I mean, we all, I guess, want to be accepted, but if somebody doesn't like me, I don't lose sleep over it. But that's a far cry from the people pleaser I used to be. And the prideful person I still can be sometimes if I'm not careful, if I'm not working the program. I don't need these things to be happy. Although I'm looking around, I've got a lot of retro stuff in the garage. It does bring me, a smile, but deep down, I completely agree that joy comes from serving others. What did it say? It said, when we've offered ourselves in service to others without expectation of reward. Man, that does feel good. We found true warmth in the fellowship of others, not only in the NA, but in our families, our relationships, and our communities. And we found the surest source of satisfaction in our conscious contact with our God. It's true. When I'm of service to others and I have no desire to receive anything in return, it seems like such a paradox, right? Seems so ironic. That is the thing that leads to joy and peace and contentment. Inner peace, a sure sense of direction, and emotional security do not come from material things, but from within. I love that. So my goal today is to practice humility and put others before myself. So I'm going to scout out some people today that I'm working with, or my family, and I'm going to offer myself to be of service today with no reward. So I got some homework. But with that, my friends, I've rambled on way over. I hope you all have a great one. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of NA, AA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I'm just joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery, honored to be here another day. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here